Yeah. So the recording is on, welcoming you, Deepak, into our room today officially, and also everybody who's watching the recording of this in the future. So this is the third masterclass of a 6 masterclass series I called the Elevated and Happy Vegan. It's kind of like a holistic little program that I've put together and offer on a free basis to introduce all of us vegans and activists out there to the foundational skills and practices that we can have to become more impactful whilst staying happy and balanced within. I do this because I've noticed that there's a lot of vegans out there that are frustrated, that are angry, we can't cope with what's happening in the world, and get sucked down into a very sad, dark hole. And some of us even stop being activists. So that's why I wanted to create this series of masterclasses for everybody out there. Now, today's topic, as I already told you before, Deepak, it is anti-procrastination. And before I'm going to talk more about the tricks that I want to introduce today, because they kind of are tricks that we can apply in order to show up more for what we think we should, I want to explain to you what procrastination is. So procrastination is the phenomenon of not doing things that we know would be good for us or for others, or not showing up for things that we believe are actually important to show up for. And I've done some research on this, and I figured out that it's a very common human phenomenon that most people know and suffer from, if you could call it suffering, right? That this lack of motivation, this lack of not feeling this driving force within to do the things that would actually be good for us or for others. Deepak says in the chat, I know very well, being a serial, you're a serial procrastinator. Yeah. I've been too. I've been so damn good at it. And like I hear the voice of procrastination often still coming through, you know, like a voice in my mind that just says, oh, you can do it tomorrow, or maybe it's not that important, or you could do something else right now. And I know that we all know these voices. We all have heard these sentences inside of our own minds. And I really like, at some point, I was just so done with it because I wanted to step into a way of living that really fulfills me, that really makes me happy, joyful, and balanced. And I needed to find ways to start showing up for the things that were needed steps for me to take in order to get there. And with there, I mean a place independent lifestyle. With there, I mean having a business that is based on my own morals and values, and I can be the CEO of it from everywhere around the world. With that, I mean being able and capable to create a life in a place where I choose to live, where I want to live, instead of being stuck somewhere physically, and also stuck being emotionally or mentally, you know? And there's this term that in mindful or conscious communities, I hear people speak about a lot, and it is, what is it? It's just that, and it just left the top of my mind. Oh yeah, doing the inner work. The inner work, right? And it's a broad term, but when we zoom in on that term and when we take a look, when we zoom in, hello, when we zoom in on that term and take a look at what it actually means, it means that most of these blocks that we think are happening on the outside are actually reflections of how we are blocking ourselves on the inside. So terms like manifesting might come up now. We talked about manifestation in the previous masterclass. Terms like that might come up in your mind right now. And today, I just want to give you a little more insight. My intention with this masterclass today is to give you a more tangible approach to getting things done that need to be done for you to live up to your greatest version, right? And so because I know how challenging that can be, and because I've been a master procrastinator for a long time, and I'm still a recovering procrastinator, we call it recovering if we're healing from something or shifting, transcending out of something, and I'm still transcending out of it more and more. But what I have to say is, yes, doing the inner work, implementing a meditation practice, getting a journal practice into my daily life has helped a lot. But at the same time, what I want to teach you today is something really cool on how you can start changing your surroundings outside of you to support the internal process of showing up and not procrastinating. Right. So, what you're going to learn today is an anti-procrastination technique that is connected to your five senses. Okay. So, what I want to teach you today is how to play and how to use your own five senses, which are touch, smell, taste, hearing, and seeing. I wrote down visuals. Seeing. So those are our five senses. Obviously, we have a sixth sense and maybe a seventh one, but we're not going to talk about those today. We're going to focus on our primary five first senses. And here's why. Because with how we receive our surroundings, we are obviously impacted and affected by everything that happens around us. Let me make an example. This person did that again, and because of that, I am still in a bad mood, and now I'm still thinking of it 2 days later, and I just can't get myself to actually go and buy that new table that I need to buy because I'm frustrated. I don't want to go out to people. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm just pissed. The whole world is shit, whatever it is. Anything on the outside that might trigger that creates an environment where your internal space is completely enslaved to it. And now that obviously has to do with your emotions. It obviously has to do with your mind. Meditation, as we learned last masterclass, can be a helpful tool to work on that. But also, I want to give you a couple of tricks that you can apply physically on your surroundings in order to help yourself shift out of that emotional state of feeling blocked or stuck, right? Sounds good. I hope it does. To me, it does. Let me know if you like that, Deepak. Put a little ding ding in the comments. So, one thing that I think is super important for us to do is to create a list of possibilities on how we can impact our surroundings. Now, let's go through our five senses one by one, and I'll make an example or multiple examples how we can use this sense and create something that triggers this sense or that eases through receiving the information via this sense our block and reduces the obstacle from us to getting the thing done, right? So if we start, let's make an example and say you want to integrate a morning practice. You want to integrate a mindful practice in your morning. Could be meditation, could be breath work, could be a movement practice, yoga maybe. You want to integrate that, but you just can't motivate yourself. You have 1.5 hours before you go to work, or maybe you have even more than that. And just you want to do like 20 or 30 minutes of that time using for this self-care practice, but you just can't get it done. Now, here's the thing. When we take a look at what needs to be prepared on the outside for you to make the practice accessible quickly, you can start with the smell. Let's start with the smell. So what smell does our surroundings need to have for us to make it easy for our body to be like, oh, this is a relaxing space. This is a space for my own self-care practice. That could mean lighting an aroma candle. It can mean lighting an incense. It can mean clearing the air, opening your windows, getting fresh air into your house. Now, this is how we use our sense of smell sense, how we use our sense of smell to create an connection from our subconscious mind, which you've learned in the last masterclass, from our subconscious mind to showing up for the actual thing. So if you're smelling something that in your subconscious mind, your body automatically recognizes the smell and connects it to, this is a space to do my self-care practice, it becomes easier to do it. Now, let's say I want to use my sense of vision to do that. How can I do that? Can I set up a space where I put down my yoga mat or my meditation pillow in my room where it is reserved for that? Can I make like a reserved space, physical space in my room where I am consistently reminding that that's the space to meditate, or that's the space to do my yoga practice, or that's the space to brush my teeth, because brushing your teeth in the morning is the bathroom. You're going into the bathroom. What are you doing in the bathroom? You're probably brushing your teeth or you're washing yourself, right? So we are applying the environmental surrounded construct that our mind thinks is a match with what we want to show up for, and we create that. Now a bathroom has already been created because that's something somebody has done for you, and you probably have a bathroom, right? But let's say you don't have a practice space. Then this is how you set yourself up. You remind yourself this is a space for practice. Here's another trick. Sounds so simple, and you might have heard of it, but there's this really cool thing that's called Post-it notes. And you can write reminders onto these Post-it notes and put them on a wall. It's super simple. Yet what that does is, by you consistently seeing a message that you know you should think of, for example, let's say you should think of moving your body 5 minutes each morning, but you can't get yourself to think of it every day. So you put these reminders on your walls or on your mirror or in your car or onto your smartphone background that remind you of, oh, that's actually something that I intend to do for myself. That's actually something I don't want to procrastinate on. So you are playing the field around you with visual components, visual reminders that help you get in the mood to show up for the things. Now, I can keep playing this game, and I will. So let's go to the ears. Let's go to the hearing. Are you waking up in the morning, and are you maybe setting up a little soft gender background music for yourself? Some smooth jazz. Or maybe you can go on Spotify, and there are like these yoga playlists, like kind of like background electronic smooth tones that put you in this mood. Or you put a meditation music on. I literally have an alarm on my phone that is a meditation background music. So it immediately puts me in the mood. Oh, the sound, I link it to meditation. So let's sit down and meditate, because meditation is the first thing I do in the mornings when I wake up, right? So this is how we use our ears, our hearing to, I could almost say, trick our body into the space of, oh, I got to show up, right? Now we have the smell, we have the eyes, we have the ears. What's up with the touch, right? Here, one really cool thing that we can do is, what is the thing we always touch, except if we're naked? Our clothes. We always touch our clothes. And for each activity, humanity has invented different kinds of clothing to make an ideal feeling in your body with your clothing that you're wearing for whatever it is. So when I get up in the morning and I put on my yoga pants or my yoga leggings right away, when I get up in the morning and do that, instead of getting up in the morning, not wearing anything at all, keeping my dirty underwear on from 3 days ago, my body is not going to be reminded that I actually need to show up for the practice. My body is not going to be reminded. Hey, Elle, you're going to keep catching the previous part of the recording. We're already 25 minutes in. We're currently talking about how to use our 5 senses as an anti-procrastination tool. So just hone in and receive whatever is there to receive for you, Elle. And in the end, we're going to open up a little space to talk and share, because I want to know what y'all are procrastinating on and see if we can find some solutions. Okay. So the 5 senses that we already took a look at to integrate in your anti-procrastination practices: your smell, your visual, your eyes, your ears. Now we're talking about your touch, right? And then I said putting on a clothing that supports you showing up where you need to show up, right? If you got to get yourself out of bed and into your yoga practice, as I said before, you better just start wearing fresh yoga pants the minute you wake up, right? And then you're immediately reminded, okay, I'm already I'm destroying the blocks. Do you see what we're doing here? We're destroying the blocks that we in our mind or society has constructed for us. Do I need to go to the gym for a workout, or can I set myself up at home on my balcony or in another room or in my garage to do the workout there? Destroying the distance from you to your goal. That's what we're doing here. Okay. So we looked at smell, we looked at seeing, we looked at ears, we looked at touch. And now the last thing that we're having is taste. Let's say you want to breathe better. Let's say you want to practice breath work. Let's say you want to integrate a breathing practice into your days. Now, breathing feels way better when you have a fresh taste in your mouth. So before I do my breath work, I tend to brush my teeth. Okay. And if I don't, sometimes I procrastinate and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to breathe. I don't want to breathe, or the air is not. You'd see, or as well, like get fresh air into your room, as I said in the beginning, can also support me showing up for my breathwork practice faster instead of, oh, the air is not fresh. Another excuse, right? So how can we destroy these excuses by going through our five senses and making whatever we want to show up for more accessible and more pleasant for us? More faster, accessible, and more pleasant. That's the key. That's how I did it, and that's how I integrated a 5-step routine into my everyday life, and it now became a natural. At some point, these things become more natural because you're feeling the benefits. You're harvesting the true benefit of not procrastinating and showing up for what you truly want to show up for, right? So taste, if you want to, I don't know, drink some mint tea. This is amazing in the evenings, for example. If you want to ease yourself into an evening ritual, get something beautiful, easeful, soft into your taste buds, onto your tongue, Instead of having a ginger ale or a beer or 20 in a night, you can get yourself a nice cup of tea before you enter your evening practice or your evening meditation, or before you have your last conversation with your best friend or your lover or your partner that day, right? So this is how you can approach this from a perspective that is functional and efficient, right? Using those five senses. Now, there's a whole lot more of these trips, these ticks and flips. I think I have a lot of tongue twisters in today's masterclass. I've had that before. A lot of those little tongue twisters. If you want to know more of these tricks, I have recorded a whole bunch of them in my Become Your Medicine program, which is available at any time if anybody wants to enroll. I know we already talked about it. Deepak, maybe this is something interesting for you. It's basically like a community coaching program where I'm the host and I'm the facilitator, and you're getting access to all of these modules. A part of those are we're scratching some surface inside of this 3-day event here, but they go way deeper. And I have a whole module that's called integration. And in there, we have a whole section with anti-procrastination techniques, such as the one that I just introduced to you now, right? Using your five senses. One thing that I invite you to do anyway, regardless if you think this is dope, this sounds really, really good, or this is kind of like meh, I kind of heard that before. Doesn't matter. I want you to start putting up post-it notes or beautiful little, doesn't have to be post-it if you don't like these colorful ones, but just beautiful little messages towards yourself that aren't affirmations, because affirmations are beautiful and it's a whole other topic. And affirmation means I love myself, or I am worthy of love, or I am capable. Put these up your walls as well if you want to. But for you to not procrastinate, you could shape it in a way and say, I love myself enough to do my meditation today. And then you put that up your wall so that your mind sees it every day, multiple times, that your eyes see it, right? I have this little incense stick here next to my bed. Every morning I light it, and every evening too. Like, it puts this whole mood in shape where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to show up for my internal practices, for the things I call inner work, meditation, breath work, movement, practice, yoga, etc. Now, what happens? By the way, before I move on in this masterclass into this next little segment, I want to ask you, is there any questions around this? Or is this so far clear to both of you? I know, Al, you just cut half of the story for today, but I think because you're a smart-ass cookie, you kind of put the puzzle pieces together already. Let me know in the comment section, in the chat section, if you have any questions around this. And if so, I'd answer them to my capacitability. What's happening? Capacitability. Capacity. That's it. I wasn't born in an English-speaking country, and I speak it really damn well, and I usually don't have tongue twisters, but today I'm like tripping over that tongue, honey, all the time. Anyway, I guess you're typing, or maybe not. If you're typing, keep going. I'll move on, and I'll take a little break to answer a question if it came up along the way, right? So now we talked more, or we zoomed in more about how can we show up for the things that are important for us, for our internal world. And obviously our internal world is connected to the outternal world. You're having a spicy day, Deepak. True, it's been pretty spicy. I've been drinking some ginger water. um, the internal world is obviously connected to the external world, and they often reflect one another. So by starting to do these internal practices and showing up for them more, shifts in the external world will happen and manifest. And you will start observing that the more you deepen into your own mindfulness practice, that on the outside, all of these things kind of could almost call it fall into place magically. Like things start falling into place. They really do. They really do. And I say that with such a conviction because I didn't believe it for a long time in my life, that if I would just really focus on getting myself centered and aligned, that on the outside, all of these things started happening. And they really freaking do. Like beautiful possibilities started showing up in my life when I started committing and dedicating myself to becoming aligned. And some things in the external world, we think, like, why the fuck does this have to be now? Like, things that just really don't fit into the way we think life goes, right? These can be small things. These can be, I don't know, pay taxes related things or administrative things. I know that I'm really terrible at administration. I really don't like it, you know, but some things just need to be done. How can we get those things done faster and not procrastinate on them? Because there are these important things, you know, like these governmental things, or like you're moving to a new house, you have to do paperwork, paper stuff and shit. How can we manage to show up for these? Now the answer is actually the same than before. Because if we make sure that we filled our cup, and we make sure we fuel ourselves, and we practicing fueling ourselves with what is needed for us: love, gratitude, compassion, attitude, whatever is needed for ourselves. When we make sure to fuel ourselves with that, we can start becoming more efficient with our self-care practice, and all of a sudden create more time in our days. We all of a sudden create more time in our days. And that doesn't mean that there's actually more time, but that means that we ease through time with a whole different state of mind. A whole different state of mind. We ease through our days. And with that, we start noticing these frameworks, these like time frameworks of, oh, okay, now I could actually get this done. Do I feel good in my body? Yes, because I've done my internal practices. Yes. So is there anything that I like? Do I have to sleep longer? No. Do I have to watch that other movie again because I'm bored or whatever? No, I can just get that shit done. So you'll see that you'll get better at not procrastinating by starting with not procrastinating your own internal inner work, your inner practices, right? Now, again, there's some other tricks and tips around this, which are bit more on the surface level. And I don't want to dive into these today because that will just like expand this masterclass and become too much. And I also just don't have the time for that. That's why all of these things are also in my group coaching program, just called Become Your Medicine. And in there, I have more in-depth tricks and tips for you. Okay. So that is the main content that I wanted to share with you today in this short masterclass. That's the main component, these 5 senses and understanding the importance of practicing the inner work. And believe me, the more you not procrastinate, the better you'll get at it. The better you'll get at showing up. It's a practice. It's same like surfing, same like skating, same like dancing. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And here's another thing that I realized when it comes to procrastination. When we are living in an isolated environment where there is no momentum, and this is the key word, write that down, momentum. I'll put it in the comments. Momentum. I think that's how you write it in English. Momentum is the keyword because momentum means there is a moving force towards a direction or into a direction. And a momentum can be created by a strong internal motivation, or it can also be created by a group that is moving into the same direction. And here's the thing that I realized, okay? I realized something extremely important some years ago when I started investing in my own coaches and my mentors. When I started investing my money in buying coaching programs or courses. Deepak, you invested in a meditation course, you told me before. So I realized that when I sign myself up to be a part of a momentum that already exists, that is driven by a community or another singular person, right? It could be a group coaching container, or it could be a person who is the host of a community or something, like me in this example. And you can join into this momentum. And what a momentum does is it gives you this unlimited feeling of motivation. You remember the beginning of the year 2022 and the beginning of the year 2021 and the beginning of the year 2020. Oh, I could go further. 2019. Do you remember 2018 when the year started? Every new year, worldwide, all over social media, there is a global momentum of, okay, let's set intentions for the new year. What do we want to achieve this new year? What are the goals for this new year? There's a global momentum. Every fucking body is doing it. Everybody's doing it. And that is so inspiring. You're like, let's hop on that train. The bus is already riding, so let me hop on that bus. And that's what I call riding a momentum. Riding a momentum. Participating in a moving force into a direction. And the first time I realized that was when me and a really good friend from my teenage years, we both had the intention to stop drinking and stop partying so hard. So what we did is we started motivating one another. So there was a double momentum going on. He was holding me accountable. I was holding him accountable. So we had like a little one-on-one community aspect of it. And we checked in with each other here and there, and we always motivated each other. And that was on a micro level. That was what a coach and mentor for you can do, actually. If you have like a motivation buddy or a push buddy, a momentum buddy, or if you have a coach and mentor, those are 2 levels, 2 completely different levels, but they move you into the right direction that you want to move towards it. So being a part of a momentum, a community that is dedicated to walking the same or similar walk like you, there's nothing that can motivate you like that. It really isn't. I remember when I signed up to this group coaching program of one of my previous mentors, and those live calls, they were like recorded lessons in her coaching program, and also weekly live calls. Same like in I have recorded modules with video lessons in my Become Your Medicine program, and I have weekly live group calls. And her live group calls, they were in a different time zone. So I stayed up every single Monday night until 12, from 12 until 2 a.m. to participate in it. And did I feel drained? Did I feel exhausted? No, not at all. This was the momentum of that group. And what I learned in that program was not related to mental health. It was a conscious business mastermind But still, there was this moving force of everybody who was creating and working on the same direction. And that was not and is not to be underestimated. So if you feel like that, if you feel like you want to be a part of this community, then I'd love to talk to you about my group coaching program, because I've created this group coaching program as an accessible lifelong community, right? So it's a community that comes with recorded modules and video lessons. It comes with live group calls every single week for 2 different time zones. So depending on which time zone you can join in to option 1 or option 2, it comes with a private Facebook group that you can join into. It's not the public big Facebook group which I'm hosting. It's another Facebook group that is actually called Become Your Medicine Program. And you access a lifelong community, with upgrades, insights, and integration practices. So I have like recorded audio files for breath work, for meditation, etc., inside of this program. Yeah, if you really want to ride a momentum, then that's your possibility and your opportunity. You can tune in anytime you want. This is the last thing that I wanted to say when it comes to anti-procrastinating. Get a community, get involved in a community, or sign up, pay for it, get into a space, get into a room where somebody is leading this movement into a direction where you want to go, right? And really make sure that you obviously choose someone that you resonate with, someone that you like, someone that you know and understand, and that knows and understands you to a deeper level. That's always really important. When I choose my mentors, I'm like, I want to have a vibe with you on a personal level. I want to see you. I want to feel you. I want to like you. I don't want to sign up to your program just because of your teachings. No, I want to have you and your energy in my life. That's how I choose my mentors, right? So to bring closure to today's masterclass, I would love to ask you, Elle joined out already, but Deepak, first of all, this is, I think this has been a lot. I've been like talking for over 30 minutes. What was something that stood out for you in this little immersion, in this little masterclass? Something that is like a key takeaway for you? Please put it in the comments, or you can also unmute yourself and say it, whatever is more comfortable for you. What is something that I said today that you were like, I can use that. I can use that. Was there something? I hope there was.
Yeah, like I think engaging the senses, using your outer world to kind of support your inner world is something I've never heard before. Um, I've been into a lot of this self self mastery circles, and yeah, that's something. What I've actually heard is that you can tune out the outer world.
I think we just lost you for a minute. We lost you at the outer world and the inner world. What a beautiful feedback. But I think the connection just dropped out. I don't hear you anymore, and you're probably also not being recorded.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you heard what I said. I was just saying that engaging your senses, um, yeah, that's something that definitely stood out for me.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm grateful that there was something. And yeah, I've also, the thing is, I haven't heard of that in many circles. I actually came to this information through multiple small sources, but I have never heard of it as a concept or as a practice that can be applied. So I really felt like this is something we need to speak about, because obviously we're doing the inner work as we are engaging in these circles and we're signing up to certain programs and courses, but the outer world exists as well. I mean, you can meditate yourself into the realm beyond all the time, but you're still living in this body for this lifetime. So why not use these 5 senses to support you, right? Yeah. Thank you so much for that feedback. And now one last question for you. And that counts, actually, these questions that I'm asking for you, Deepak, but also for everybody who's watching the recording. If you're watching the recording, you're doing that on my website. And on my website, if you scroll down, almost like on YouTube, you have a comment section. So if you want to answer the questions that I'm asking in this exact live call, but you're watching the recording in my future and in the future's present, put in the comments. I can always interact at a later day and time as well. So put it in the comments for everybody who's watching the recording. What was your key takeaway out of this masterclass today? Was it the same as Deepak's, or was there something else that stood out for you? And Deepak, I want to know from you, if you want to share, what are you procrastinating on right now? Like right now in this moment of your life, what is there that you know you should do, but you aren't?
Well, it's building my vegan business because I have more of a B2B offering copywriting to vegan businesses, and I procrastinate saying that because vegans is what, like 3% of the world, and they don't have enough money to pay me. So I in turn don't reach out to them. So that's kind of what I'm procrastinating on right now. I caught your spicy bug as well.
Well, I can relate, obviously, because I'm also working in the niche with vegans and activists. And as you say, it's still only 3% of the world. But there's one thing that I want to say to you right now that maybe helps you overcome this exact procrastination part that you're or that is holding you back, or that you're holding yourself back with. I want you to understand that we can also trust our future customers. If they're vegan or not, if they have money or not, we can trust them. If they really want to work with us, if they like us, if they vibe with us, to generate that income or that money, that financial resource, we can trust them. They're good people. They're great. Like, I mean, most of the vegans in this world, I would say all of them, but let's keep it at most, are smart, intelligent, great, intellectual, refined, emotional, right? And so I think we can trust these people that are within our own community to make it happen if they want to make it happen. That's something that I needed to learn before I was also procrastinating on like focusing on who I want to work with. The beginning of my coaching business, I was offering my services to everybody. Was offering my mental health coaching and my mindfulness coaching to everybody. Did I sign a lot of clients? Not at all. Did I like the people that I signed up with? Some I didn't. Some I didn't vibe with at all. So when we're working within our own community, we really got to trust us as a community to not only support each other, but also to invest in each other. Like, I get a lot of people that come to me because I'm vegan, and they're like, well, I want to work on mental health and mindfulness, but I want you because you understand my mindset. And if you're a copywriter, that's quite similar, isn't it? Like, you're writing copy for vegan businesses, and you can only do that really well if you are, and you are. So may that empower you to go out there. I might ask you for your services at some point one day. Currently, I'm still writing my own copy, but who knows, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good advice. And
Yeah,
yeah, like recently I understood, like we have like 7 or 8 years climate change wise. Otherwise things will be really bad. So that kind of puts urgency. That also helps because you're working for a cause, and so you are like you have to kind of the word I'm using trying to say is kind of draw from that cause. So if, like, let's say I'm not uh, good with video, and so yeah, I'm not good with video, but that higher self can do something which I may struggle with.
that's it. 100 fucking percent. That's it. Marry yourself to the cause. You're doing it for a greater vision, and everything that might cause fear doesn't serve the cause either. So just trust that, you know. Like if you feel this calling to offer your services as a copywriter to vegan businesses, you are also feeling a calling to elevate your impact as a vegan in this world to save more animals, essentially, because and with that, to save more of this planet as well, to support this planet, to serve the planet. So whatever it is you're offering, it is beautiful. And if you're offering it to our own community, it is beautiful. Please do that. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to thank you, Deepak, for joining in today. And for everybody who is watching the recording, I have received some emails and Facebook messages that some of you will. So I'm excited to hear everybody's feedback down in the comments on my website. And Deepak, you already gave your feedback. So I want to thank you so, so much for tuning in today. And everybody else, I see you in the next masterclass, which will be, gosh, how many hours from now? You'll receive an email 2 hours before I'm starting to host it. The topic in the next masterclass is breath work. So for the next masterclass, I have some instructions in the email that will be sent out to you. I have some instructions in there. And please follow these, set yourself up so that you can really receive the breathwork teachings that I'm about to teach. And yeah, thanks for joining in. I'll see you in the next masterclass.